Michael Sweet and Robert Sweet from Stryper. The new album is out, right? Soldiers Under Command. Actually, this is your second album, but it's your first real full album, right?
You got it.
Right.
First one's 6 songs. This one's now 10. So this is classified as our first real album.
10 variety songs.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah, Stryper doesn't want to limit our audience. We want to, reach people all the way from 7 to 70. We always say that 7's one of our numbers. And we just want to reach a lot of people, so we designed the album for everyone.
How is Soldiers Under Command doing as compared to the first EP?
It's doing wonderful. The first day it shipped 100,000.
Yes, very good.
I'm not sure what sales are up to, but it's charting in the Billboard charts, and it's getting better by the week. So
we're a group who likes to do different things, as you can tell by listening to what you're listening to right now. So,
well, here's something different. Is the album cover for Soldiers Under Command is another thing that's plunged you into controversy. Why the massive artillery, heavy artillery?
Why the heavy artillery is because a lot of people think we're promoting violence, or reason why we have the guns is we want people to be violent, which is not true. That's not what we're promoting. That's totally against what we stand for. All we're trying to show with the guns is there's a battle going on, and we wanted the modern day warfare to show, that we're fighting for good. We're on God's side, and He's the commanding officer, and we're soldiers. That's why we have the modern day warfare.
Right, we're called to fight the good fight, and it's not going to look realistic if you're trying to put off this image of being a soldier and you're standing by a rock or a wall. We're trying to get that point across. Jesus made a statement one time, I've come not to bring peace but a sword. And a lot of people didn't understand what he meant by that. But he was, trying to make a point just like we are. But what a lot of people I think have missed is on the front of that album cover I'm holding a Bible in my right hand. And the picture was even taken in the parking lot of a Baptist church. And on the back of the album, underneath Soldiers Under Command, you'll see a Bible verse. I believe it's 2 Timothy 2, 3, and 4. And it talks about how we're to join God's army and fight that good fight. So, like Michael said, the album cover is not promoting violence. It's just making a point that we're called to be enlisted in God's army.
One thing we need to get clear is I think Robert and myself sound a lot alike. So why don't you say hi, Bob, and then they'll know who you are, and then I'll say hi. And
I think that's a great idea.
Tell them your name.
All right, you got it.
Go ahead.
So, hello, I'm Robert, and it's me speaking right now, and not Michael.
Hello, I'm Michael, and it's me speaking right now.
And it's not Robert speaking.
Not Robert.
And my name's
There,
Jimmy.
now you guys can tell the difference of who's who.
The Sweet Brothers. Because you've lived together all your lives, you're liable to sound kind of the same.
Yeah.
That's what people have said.
Yeah.
There's a song on the album called Reach Out. What about that tune?
Reach Out. What that tune is speaking about, by the way, I hope everyone enjoys it. And what it's speaking about is it's telling people how Stryper has reached out. We've reached out. We've made a stand. We've reached out for God. We're standing up for Him, and we're just telling people to reach out. Reach out, and God will reach out. You ask for something, and you shall receive. You just ask, and God will give it to you. So you make that stand, reach out, and God will do the rest.
Right. God's faithful. If you reach up 10%, He'll reach down 90%. And that's what God has done with Stryper. And that's what we're telling people to do. Hey, take a chance. You've got nothing to lose. Reach up, and He'll reach down. No one has anything to lose by that.
Yeah, just do something. Most people won't even do anything when it comes to God or making a stand. They won't do anything. They're ashamed, or they're afraid to make a stand. If you just do a little bit, God will do the rest,
Right, and He'll give you the strength to do more, and He'll give you the words to say, and He'll be right there, helping you out.
Now, in reaching out, though, you've been plunged into huge amounts of controversy. It's been very difficult. Why all the controversy? What has happened?
What controversy? I'm not.
No,
I don't know of any controversy.
When you do anything new, most of the time, there's going to be controversy. When you stick your head high enough, that people are going to throw stones. People are going to shoot arrows, and especially when you're coming out of left field. See, Stryper's not coming out of left field, we're coming out of right field. And we're doing something that hasn't been done. And we have a lot of Christian people and a lot of non-Christian people look at us and say, how in the world could you combine two elements that seem so far from one another and put them together and claim to be right on and claim to be rock and roll and sell records? And that's what causes the controversy. We've been banned by certain churches. We've had people pick at our concerts. We've had people who weren't Christians upset because they thought we might be cheapening rock and roll. And that's not the case. You just take the best of two worlds, but you put God first, which is what we want to do, put Him first, and you combine them, and you got something that's happening. So even in the midst of controversy, and the controversy is there, it seems to get more controversial by the day, but we're seeing a lot of people, even though there is controversy, say, hey, you guys are right. It is possible to combine God and rock and roll and get something that's good.
Yeah, Stryper takes more heat than anyone, but you have more of an impact than anyone.
You know something? We may take a lot of heat right now, but we know one thing. We're not going to take a lot of heat after we die. And we're not going to go to hell. And that's one thing that we want to stand up for. Hell is not a good place to be. There's a lot of rock groups today, and we're not coming against those guys. We're just coming against the message. The Bible says hell's a bad place to be. And what cracks me up is everyone who says there's no hell, they're still alive. And hell is not a good place to be. And you know something? That's why we use the yellow and black stripes. Those are caution colors. They're used on the highway everywhere, on the streets and highways, wherever you go. And it attracts people's attention, and that's what we're trying to say is caution. Don't go to hell. So we take the heat now, but it's better to take a little heat right now and not go to a place that's worse. It's not a good thing to go through the problems and everything we go through here and die and go to someplace worse.
A lot of metal bands sing a lot about hell and Satan. Is that something you're trying to counteract?
Yes.
That's with the capital Y-E-S. It's not that we're trying to counteract it, but there's two sides to the story. You see, rock and roll is a coin, I've always told people. And right now, the coin has been tossed in the air and it's landed in the hands of people, and people are seeing the other side of that coin saying, hey, we've never seen this before. And we just think it's a good thing, and it's fair for everyone to hear the opposite side of the story. The word devil means little god. Now, why in the world of rock and roll does everyone sing about the little god and not give the big god a fair shake or a try? See, no one's done it. So what we're trying to be is we're trying to present rock and roll how it really should be presented. It's not a bad music. A lot of these words and lyrics that have come out have been giving rock and roll a bad name. The music is wonderful, and a great music deserves a great message. So being that we are soldiers, we're fighting against not the people, but the ideas that people are getting in put into their mind, and the words they're listening to, that that God is corny, that Satan's all right, that there's no hell, or if there is a hell, that you want to die and you want to go there. That's one big party. That's not the case.
The whole thing that we want to do, is we want people. People do have the freedom to choose, and we don't want to shove anything down people's throats. We just want to play good music, have a good time, rock and roll, and tell people our hearts, tell them what we stand for and what we believe in. And if they want to, follow and they want to believe in what we believe in, which is everlasting life, in Jesus Christ, they have the freedom of choice to either accept it or reject it. And, we'll continue to keep rocking and doing what we've been called to do,
Right, and something else. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. A lot of people feel today that Stryper is trying to force religion or force God on people. Stryper is not a religious band, and we're not going to force anything on anyone. A billboard doesn't force an issue on someone, but it makes a big, bold statement for everyone to see, and that's what Stryper is today. We're kind of a rock and roll billboard that's held up for everyone to see. To state the fact and to hold it up and to say, hey, look, now it's out in the open. Now you got a chance. It's your chance. If you don't want God, that's between you and God. But the Bible says you either choose or you lose. lives. And so that's what we're doing. We're not trying to back anyone in a corner, beat anyone over the head with a Bible, even though we do toss them in the audience.
Just we want the people to listen to the music and then
make their
the
choice. Yeah, right on.
Are people listening to what Stryper has to say?
Yeah, a lot of people are listening to what we have to say. A lot of people aren't only listening, but a lot of people are changing their lives because God is using Stryper, and the message we have is to change lives, born again, which means changing.
Right, and plus we get a lot of letters from people, and it's up to about 1,000 a week now, of people who are writing in and saying, we listened to your record, we like what you're saying. We even get letters from atheists, and that is just such a tremendous thing. People who are saying, hey, I don't believe in God, I don't know if I ever will, but my kid went to see you in concert, and his attitude's different now when he came back home, and I don't know what it is, but maybe it is God, maybe it is you're speaking about God, but I like it. So we're getting a lot of letters, we talk with a lot of people, and we're seeing that people's lives are being changed, not because Stryper's so hot, but the message that
because
we talk about
God is hot,
so hot. He's right on, and he's, his words can change people, and we think it's a good thing instead of promoting murder, violence, rape, drug traffic, a bad attitude or ego, that we stand up and say, hey, it's time to love one another. It's time to stand up for something that's good. Change our ways from wrong to right.